G'day, ZiggyD here, back in Skyforge. Earlier in my Skyforge closed beta test 1 coverage, I talked about and showed off the character customization system. You guys may recall if you saw that video, I showed off the Ascension Atlas, the skill progression tree for the character, and we talked about how, although it's got a nice fancy design, it's pretty linear and it only really starts to open up a little bit later on. And this is essentially what we could see, that it was a very linear tree until what looked to be the late game, where you start to get some choices eventually a little bit later on. The choices were fairly minor, but then you have a couple branches. And basically, you know, the idea was that it felt way too linear for what could have been a far more interesting system. Well, I'm here in this video to tell you guys that it gets a lot better. So guys, once you unlock your ultimate ability for your class, now that is about 20 hours into the game. That's how long it took me. You know, obviously, if you're a skilled player or if you're a very knowledgeable player, it's probably going to take you a lot less time. But for me, it took about 20 hours. And that was around this point, I believe. No, where is it? Where's the ultimate? Orbital strike. Here we go. So here's the ultimate. So you can see kind of like the progression on the tree. It was not really that far in terms of the grand scheme of MMOs. Now, once you unlock the ultimate ability on one of your classes, so you start off with 3 starting classes, 5 if you have one of the supporters packs. Once you get the ultimate ability on one of those classes, so if you want to get to here as fast as possible, then you're only going to want to invest in one class. I made the mistake of investing in a few classes as I was trying them out. But once you get the ultimate ability, guys, you get access to the real Ascension Atlas. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, you get access to the real Ascension Atlas. This is what I'm talking about, right? Right? This is like, wow, this looks a bit like Path of Exile. And it's probably not that good. It's probably not that well designed compared to Path of Exile, but this is a far more interesting and engaging tree. So the idea is, the starter classes are Cryomancer, Paladin, and Lightbinder, and these are all on the same tree, whereas with the tree we were on before was the class-specific tree. That was the Gunner Atlas, or if you were on the Cryomancer, it'd be the Cryomancer Atlas. These are specific skill trees for unlocking the skills of those classes. Then there is the Global Ascension Atlas, in which all classes in the game are located on this. So you can see the Gunner that I'm playing on is located over here on the left. Now, this is where it starts to get a lot more interesting, because if you want to unlock the other classes in the game, or indeed divine form abilities, which is located over here for the end game where you can become a god, then you need to start progressing around this tree in addition to progressing around your Gunner tree or your other class tree. So let's say I start off by playing as a Cryomancer and I invest only as far enough to unlock the ultimate ability, and then my gold class, the class I really want to play, is Archer. Then what I'm going to need to do is start spending points from Cryomancer. We can highlight the route here. If I click right, we can find path. We can go out this way. We can beeline across over to here where the Archer is, and then we can unlock the Archer class. And then once we've unlocked the Archer class, we can double click on this and spend our class unlock points to unlock the Archer class, and then move on in and start progressing through the Archer class as well. Or we can, you know, get just the skills in the Archer class we want and continue progressing in this tree. Now, in addition to unlocking all of the classes, because all of these classes are located in different areas in this tree, depending on where you start, you may have to sort of travel a little bit further. It might take you quite a long time to unlock something like, you know, for example, the Berserker, if you have to unlock that class, is a fair ways away from the starting classes, so you're going to have a bit of traveling ahead of you. Now, in addition to unlocking the actual classes, there are a bunch of talents around the tree that affect all classes. So for example, bonus dash here gives you an additional dash for no matter which class you are. This is a character-wide bonus talent that you can place put inside in place of your other talents. Then there are mystery nodes with the unknown effects, which I don't know what those are, and there's a whole bunch of nodes that they still haven't added to the game as well yet. Like, I think there's missing here. Some of them even say things like, you know, blank symbol, this is a placeholder talent, as they add things later on in the beta and going forwards towards launch. Now, some of these talents are a little bit more interesting. You know, this one is something that's kind of specific for the Gunner. It's located near the Gunner. There's ones here like Element of Surprise that give you bonus damage at the start of fights. There's you know, a lot of different talents here that you can potentially start to incorporate into your classes as well. So if you can much more heavily customize your build. And then of course, in addition to that, you can actually, if let's just say I really want to max out my character's might, then you can sort of route out a tree that grabs as much might as possible. So, much better stuff, guys. The real problem, and I have shared this criticism and feedback with the developers, that is that it takes way too long to even know that you can potentially unlock this. Most players are going to play they're going to play through and they're going to see the very basic Ascension Atlas for their class. They're going to play for about 20 hours or 15 hours or so, and they're like, well, it doesn't really ever seem to get any more complex or in-depth than this. It seems pretty linear. I'm not really going to play anymore. And there's actually nothing in the game that suggests when getting to your ultimate unlocks that other tree. Now, hopefully they fix this and they address this. It would be nice if somewhere near the start of the game they showed you, hey, once you become experienced enough in one of these classes, you can potentially unlock this, and then show people the Ascension Atlas, show them that can actually unlock other classes, because a player who just jumps into this game without really reading about it first or watching YouTube videos about it first, he's not going to actually know that there's more classes. If they just have the 3 starter classes when the game launches, which will be Lightbinder, Paladin, and Cryomancer, they'll be like, this game only has 3 classes? Wow, what a garbage MMO. When the game has got like 10 classes and it's going to have more added before launch as well. But there's no way of knowing that currently in the game because nothing even shows that. There was like an NPC that kind of hints at the fact that maybe in the future, once you learn some things, you can start to learn more things, but it's really subtle, and there's no actual indication on nothing really showing you that the game does get a lot better. And this is kind of a theme for this game in general, guys. The first impressions of Skyforge for most people are pretty negative. I think if you check out reviews or check out first impressions videos of people who have played maybe 10 to 15 hours of the game, they're not going to be very impressed. I've put in probably 30-40 hours into this game now, and I'm starting to see that, hey, this game actually has some potential. The combat's fun, the classes are well designed, there is the potential for this heavy customization and a lot of freedom here. You know what? With a bit more work, with a couple more beta cycles, with more content to play in, this could actually be pretty good. This could actually be a pretty decent, solid, free-to-play sort of sci-fi fantasy MMO. It's got some interesting stuff going on, guys. It's just not obvious right at the start. It's like hidden away. So hopefully they make that more obvious. I know it's overwhelming to just chuck someone onto a tree like this at the start, and I don't think they should do that. MMOs need to make sure that they're very beginner-friendly at the start, and they very slowly introduce people into the game. I think most MMOs need to do that, especially free-to-play MMOs. But they can at least show that, hey, eventually you're going to be smart enough, you're going to be skilled enough, you're going to have enough game knowledge to unlock this and get into this and start using this and start creating awesome stuff. So guys, hopefully this little update sort of, gives you a little bit of an indication that there's a little bit more going in Skyforge than sort of you initially see. Scratch that surface and there's some stuff hidden below. So guys, if you have any questions about the character progression, feel free to ask in the comments below. That is it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.